In the heart of Colorado's rugged Rocky Mountains, the Courage Classic Bicycle Tour takes place in the middle of the beautiful summer landscape. Supporting the Children's Hospital, this event spans 80 miles over 3 mountain passes just on day 1, and the need for reliable communications is critical for rider safety. This video documents the journey of setting up a linked communication system consisting of 5 repeaters to cover some of Colorado's deepest valleys and rugged terrain where even cell phone or police radios don't have any service. Hey everyone, Skylar W0SKY here. I know it's been a while since I've pushed any content, but hopefully this is a good one and you guys enjoy it all. This all started back around March, April of 2023. Decided I was going to be crazy enough to set up a whole communication system for a bike race in mid-July, going through 3 or 4 different mountain passes. And this video documents it all, so hope you guys enjoy. And we're going to start out with some of the planning and then get into the fun stuff, all the repeater building and hiking and 4x4 trails to get up to all these repeater sites and get the bike race covered. So hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Okay, so Skyhub Link has a repeater on Vail Mountain. This repeater is going to be completely redone just for the race, but there's a repeater up here on the Vail Mountain portion of the ski resort, kind of just here in this area, and that will pretty easily get between Vail Pass up here and through Minturn, and actually probably a pretty good ways up back this way towards Tennessee Pass. So Vail Mountain will kind of cover this quarter to third of the race right here between Vail Pass, Minturn, maybe a little bit up towards Red Cliff. Then we're kind of in a dead zone up between Tennessee Pass. There is a Skyhub Link repeater at Colorado Mountain College in Leadville, but this will probably be just used as a link site because that only really covers Leadville proper. And then again, we've got a dead zone all the way up towards Fremont Pass where the Climax mine is here, and coming back towards Copper. So we are going to put a temporary repeater on Copper Mountain right here at Ski Patrol headquarters, and this will cover all the way between Vail Pass in that direction. It'll get the 10 Mile Canyon. This will be used on day 2. And it will also get a good amount up this way towards Fremont Pass. So it's looking like Copper will be a temporary repeater install. And then Vail Mountain, obviously we'll redo that permanent repeater. And then for day 1, so we have Leadville as a backup repeater, but that doesn't really cover a lot. So it's looking like we're going to need one more. And I'm thinking either Mosquito Pass or Buckeye Peak. So this is Buckeye right here. And as you can see, we can see all the way down towards Copper almost in this direction. In the other direction, you can see Leadville in the distance. And then we've got another clean shot down the canyon towards Minturn. So I think that's going to be what we're going to have to do. It's going to be a hike-in repeater site. Mosquito is probably pretty close, so that's kind of back this way a little. Mosquito Pass is... I'm too far. Right here. So there's a radio site here too. The problem is Buckeye Peak's kind of blocking it towards Minturn. But it would see pretty well down towards Climax Mine and Leadville. So that's the second option. But I think we're going to go for Buckeye Peak. And let's pull up the coverage maps now. Okay, not to bore you guys with too many details on this PowerPoint stuff, but this is just a real quick overview of what we ended up deciding to do with all the different sites to get us coverage. So it's going to be all controlled with All-Star-Link as the backbone, so these will be all VoIP-linked systems. Most of them will have node radios off-site because there's no internet on each of these repeater sites, so we'll use node radios, and this is what the control status will kind of look like. Okay, so the first site is Copper Mountain. This will cover between Vail Pass and Copper and Frisco through the 10 Mile Canyon and up towards Fremont Pass. So this will be really good beginning coverage from day one and end towards the end of the day when they start coming back down from Vail Pass. This will be the temper repeater at the Ski Patrol headquarters with a node radio sitting at Copper Mountain at the condo. Okay, so we ended up deciding to do Buckeye Peak. Buckeye is going to be the solar-powered repeater at 12,800 feet, and that'll cover really all the way up between Copper Mountain and Leadville, up over Fremont Pass, Climax Mine, up to Tennessee Pass here, all the way towards Minturn, almost to Minturn. So this is going to be really the majority of day one coverage is going to be using this Buckeye Peak. And the node radio, the link radio, is actually at Leadville at the Colorado Mountain College site where the backup repeater is. So that's what we'll get into next. Or Vail Mountain next, actually. Okay, so Vail Mountain, this is SkyHub Link's permanent repeater. And part of the project, we're going to upgrade this to a new Quantar. And this will get between probably almost up to Tennessee Pass here, through Minturn, through Vail, up to Vail Pass. Coverage here, this is an estimation, and it's such a deep valley that the RF has to reflect and bounce to get in. It'll have full coverage through here, even though it's showing gray for no coverage. And the last is the Leadville backup repeater, or the last for day one is the Leadville backup. This is at Colorado Mountain College, and it really only covers Leadville proper, but it'll be a good backup in the event of the Buckeye Peak, which is right here, if the solar panels fail. And then also that will be linked in is the Silverthorn repeater. This is mainly for day two coverage. Day two will be Copper Mountain and Silverthorn. And this is Paul WB0 QMR's repeater, and it covers all the Frisco, Silverthorn, Breckenridge areas. That's what's going to be used as far as coverage. So now we got to build out the system. So that's what the rest of this video is going to be about. So here is the Vail portion of the link. This will be a permanent SkyHub Link repeater and links to the node radio in Edwards. So we've got a 100 watt Quantar repeater running it at 75 watts. We've got a cell wave 6 cavity bandpass band reject duplexer, and then just a basic link controller I built with an Arduino. So this just allows me to disable the repeater from DTMF and put it in a special event mode, which actually ups the power a little bit and changes the courtesy beep and hang time. Also decreases the CWID frequency, so it's not as loud of an ID with the Arduino and a DTMF decoder IC. The back of the duplexer and the back of the repeater. We've got a GasFET preamp because this Vail site should have a pretty low noise floor, so I did put a preamp right here. And that's about it. If I reboot the controller, we can listen to it. So the controller causes the PTT to key out. Here's the ID, boot up tone, and then you can see after the duplexer, so it's 75 before, we're getting 56.6 watts after. We're losing less than a dB, so that's pretty good. Then I can put it in link mode, so let me dial the DTMF command for that. So it's dialing. Now we're in special event link mode, and this just changes the hang time, changes the CWID, and then also we're up in power. So now it's 95 watts before the duplexer. We're getting 71 watts out after. So this is the Vail Mountain portion of the link. We'll be installing this in a couple weeks. It was now time to head up Vail Mountain to get the new repeater in. Special thanks to Burnus KI0AR and Carrie N2K&K for coming along to help. The views along the road here were absolutely stunning. The snow finally melted enough to make it up the road towards the end of June. We made it to the tower site on top of the mountain, and now we're inspecting to find the line for an antenna swap. Here's our old repeater, which was suffering several issues and barely limping through last winter. So Bernice here is taking this down, helping decommission it. And the new repeater is now racked up, and Carrie here is helping making any fine-tune adjustments and testing out the performance. The Vail Mountain repeater is now fully operational and had great coverage driving home. So now one repeater's done, 3 more to go. So this will be the temporary copper mountain repeater, and right now I pulled out the receiver module, tuning the front end. So the service monitor hooked up to the front end here, and I gotta move this peak over here to 444.075, the center frequency. This repeater has a nice milled cavity, 4 cavity, 3 cavity pre-selector. And here's the duplexer for the copper mountain repeater. Working on getting it tuned. We want to pass 449.075 on the transmit, block 444 on transmit, pass 444 and receive block 449 transmit. So just got to get that shape's pretty close how it was already tuned, but just got to optimize it. So at our output frequency of 449.075 on the high pass side of the duplexer, we're all tuned up, only about a dB of loss. See the 1.06. Let's go to the frequency it needs to block, 444.075, the receiver, and about 77 dB of rejection. And the copper mountain repeater is ready to go. I've got a weak signal coming into it, and it's duplexing its transmit. So I'm sending -118, and I'm getting 41 watts after the duplexer. It's 55 before, so that's around that dB loss figure. And I'm getting no descents. So if I disable the transmit and listen on the speaker of this repeater itself, same with transmit on, transmit off, or transmit on, transmit off. Receiver is getting no descents, so this duplexer is working fine. So here is the link radio for copper, and this will just be at the condo at Copper Mountain. And it'll link up to the mountain, providing internet through the little Raspberry Pi and sound interface box. So I'm on the repeater output frequency. I can key it up. The repeater is keyed now, and the link radio is now in receive mode. I could test the link radio. So the link radio is just on a dummy load right now. Same as the repeater. We're on another dummy load there. I can put it in echo mode to test the repeater link radio combination. This is W0SKY, testing 449.075, link and repeater combo.
This is W0SKY, testing 449.075, link and repeater combo.
So as you heard there, this link radio transmitted, went through the repeater, out my handheld radio. And same when I talk into it, it's going through the repeater and then into the link radio. And you can see over here, the link radio, we're sending about 9.5 watts. 9.5 watts into the link radio, which should be plenty to hit the repeater just from a couple miles away. So that's how we're doing it with the Copper Mountain link. So here is the completed Buckeye solar repeater. And then right next to it, I've got the Leadville Colorado Mountain College link. So this radio will sit at Colorado Mountain College at their radio tower and link both to Buckeye and also serve as a local Leadville repeater. So we got the 449.575 repeater right here, which is the Leadville repeater. And then we've got the link radio right here that goes to Buckeye. And then the Buckeye repeater here. So let me go to the Buckeye frequency first of all. So I can key it up and it's coming back to me. And you can also see the link radio keys up. So when I talk, W0SKY, you can see the link radio, here's it. And then the link radio Raspberry Pi, which is this top one up here, the COR light lights up. So I can do a star 70. You can see the link radio red light transmit keys up. The link radio keys up.
Node 4
and
1
we can hear
6 9 4 transceive.
The output on Buckeye. So this will be using a Yagi antenna pointed towards Buckeye Peak as a node radio for the Buckeye repeater, and it'll also serve as a standalone, well not standalone, it'll be linked, but as a standard repeater. So this Leadville link site has two functions right here. We've got just a little microtik router that links both Pis together, so the white cable's internet coming in, then you got two Pis. So these Pis can link to each other without any internet, but they could also link via internet. And then so the lower Pi is the Leadville repeater, and I can go to that frequency, and you can see now that's a full repeater, so both COR and PTT were lit up when I keyed it up. So there's Leadville plus the solar powered Buckeye repeater. So here's the basic logic functions of the Buckeye solar powered repeater. Basically all it is two 555 timers and a monostable oscillator. I'm using one as a 1.5 minute timer for the fan. So whenever PTT gets triggered, the fan turns on. It waits 1.5 minutes, then it turns off. And then the other 555 is a hang time extender. It just extends the hang time just so there's about a second hang time coming off the transmitter, because I know people like to hear that repeater come back to them just so they know it's operational. So yeah, this timer right here on the right hand side is the hang time extender. One on the left hand is the fan timer. You can see the big power MOSFET in the middle for the fan. Also the CTCSS transmit is turned off during the hang time just so the link radio doesn't hear the hang time. However, that isn't really done in this logic. That's done in the radio itself. Basically, this yellow wire here is a direct COR input from the receive, and that inhibits the PL tone. Basically, whenever the COR is not active, it inhibits PO. So here's everything set up and ready for the Buckeye Peak Solar Portable Repeater. We've got a 100 amp hour lithium battery here on the left, the repeater itself in the middle, 100 watt solar panel, and this solar panel is just to keep it trickle charged before the race itself. The battery should last enough for a day. And then we've got the antenna. So this is just one of the sections. It's a 5-foot PVC. Gonna run 2 sections and then guy it off. So I can key it up. Comes back to me. W0SKY. Don't have it linked to anything right now, but it's definitely working. And inside the repeater itself, here's all the stuff. We got the fan with these fan entryway units I found to keep the air flowing. And then the repeater itself, the little controller board, and a solar charge controller, so pretty simple here. And then our connections, we've got here's our air entryway. It's just kind of a flange to keep the water dripping down. Our boot for the power entry, and then the antenna connector right here, just an end connector, and I used some sealant to kind of seal off to waterproof that. With now a few days remaining until the start of the bike race, it was time to head up to the mountains. Here is the ridiculous amount of equipment I had to load up in the truck. Let's hope I didn't forget anything. Time to head up to Copper Mountain to meet Tyler to help with the first repeater install. We're heading up to the top of Copper now, and there's a whole bunch of buses on this narrow dirt road just to transport skiers for the little amount of snow that there is still left at the top.
Crazy Skylar navigating us up the mountain. Yep. Pretty mint. Putting in a temporary repeater for the Courage Classic bike race.
Yep.
As part of the Sky Systems outreach.
Yep.
Here's the Vail repeater over to the distance that way.
W0SKY on the 448750 Vail repeater from the top of Copper Mountain.
Dropping your Skylar on the Vail repeater, and your APRS up there on the peak.
So here we are at the top of Copper Mountain. Got the repeaters and stuff to unload and set up, and we're gonna put our antenna on a pole up there at the ski patrol headquarters. Here's Tyler tightening up the antenna. The topply, wobbly, big, giant antenna of the ski patrol headquarters.
Skylar, formerly KD0WHB, now he is W0SKY. He's installing this temporary addition to the Sky system in the appropriately named Sky Kennel to help protect it from the weather.
Yep.
So it was just meant to be. Got power from an extension cord. Antenna up here on like a super stable mast. It's pretty sweet. Mast would survive a Category 5 hurricane. Skylar is 100% sure.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Okay, so we're just testing out the repeater and make sure we're getting all the power we want out and not reflected. So I'm gonna go to the forward scale, 50 watt scale on this old bird meter. And we got 45 watts coming out after the duplexer. And we go to reflected scale on 15 watts and not even a watt reflected. Just barely moving the meter. This is W0SKY on the new Copper Mountain temporary Courage Classic repeater.
There we are. Taking off. Got the Sky System temporary Sky Peter installed in the Sky Kennel. And we're heading back down the mountain. Skylar's driving. The man that everything is named after.
The Copper Mountain repeater was finished, and we got great signal reports even from Frisco. So now we went back to the base at the condo and set up the little link radio that links the Copper Mountain repeater into the rest of the system. With a little node radio and a fan, it's running 4 watts, a little Raspberry Pi, and a sound card interface. And that just heads to the internet here at the condo. And then we've got an antenna, just a UHF Yagi antenna pointed somewhat kind of towards the top of Copper, and it's working. We're listening to the astronomy net right now, and we're hearing people talk. Go to the Copper frequency. Little decence right here locally. There's the astronomy net, so. It is now early in the next morning, and time to take the treacherous journey all the way up to the top of Buckeye Peak. From Leadville, 8 miles of 4x4 trail is then followed by a 1.5 mile hike with all the equipment to the top of the hill at 12,800 feet.
Hello, internet.
We're heading up to Leadville to do the Buckeye repeater for the solar install. It's 6:44 in the morning, just leaving copper up for Buckeye. So this will be an adventure. We'll see if we make it, if we freeze to death up there. The peak with still some snow on it is where we're heading. Buckeye Peak's just right up there, you can see it.
Oh boy.
So that square thing is a passive microwave reflector.
Sorry, where is that? Oh, I see it.
That square thing straight ahead. So there's the destination. Buckeye Peak straight ahead. Well, we can't go any farther. The road's close. We're gonna have to hoof it from here. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Time to hike all this stuff up. I got the repeater on my back. Tyler's got the battery and antenna, and he's got the mast poles. So, we'll see how this works. So we're close to halfway, at least distance-wise. Now we gotta get off this little 2-tracked road. This is gonna be pretty tiring, but we're still heading up. Pretty steep right here, trying to get up the hill. A little difficult with all the equipment. We're going slowly but surely.
Crazy Skylar is powered by pure meat. Skylar is powered by pure meat. He's refueling right now. Eating a roast, it looks like, of some sort.
Okay, we finally made it to Buckeye Peak with all our equipment. We're all pretty exhausted, but we're here. So we found this nice place to mount our solar panel. We're just gonna kind of sit on front there and put our repeater kind of behind this wall. And then down this canyon is towards Minturn, so that'll give us coverage that way. And then we get coverage down this canyon towards Copper Mountain. You can see Climax Mine right there. And this will definitely cover a good portion of the route between all these valleys. Okay, we're getting the guy wires up. He's got some little cord tied on some rocks. Here's basic rock. Tyler's signing the log. Yep. We got the repeater set up. Special thanks to Ian KE0GET and Tyler KI6WSS for coming to help with all this crazy stuff. The Buckeye repeater is now fully operational, and we are now headed back down to the Leadville linking site at Colorado Mountain College to put in the Buckeye node radio and the new Leadville repeater. So we got down from Buckeye and now we just made it to the Leadville site. Here's the little Leadville radio communication site with our Skyhub repeater antenna on top. So this is going to be the link radio for Buckeye. So we're going to put a little Yagi here, and this Yagi will link up to Buckeye Peak, which is kind of through the trees in the distance. And so here's the link Yagi antenna installed. This points to Buckeye Peak. There's a few trees in the way, but it shouldn't be any issue for 440 megahertz. The link antenna goes into this little shack for the Leadville link. We've got the Skyhub Leadville repeater, and then we also have this little link radio here that will link to Buckeye Peak, and we get network through this little router board. After one last stop at the Silverthorne repeater site for a sound card upgrade, the system was ready to go, and now it's time for some coverage testing. We need to tell the 20 or so people volunteering where to use which repeater, because there's going to be a lot of frequency switching.
Rep, in the morning it's all...
We're coming off Vail Pass, and copper repeaters in full coverage, so this repeater should work pretty well for this portion of the race. W0SKY testing for mile marker 183 on Vail Mountain.
SKY, again, slightly scratchy but readable.
This is W0SKY from the base of Ski Cooper net control position, testing Buckeye Peak on low power.
Low power Buckeye Peak is Ski Cooper 5x5.
Okay, and now here is Vail Mountain. Vail Mountain on low power from net control location. Okay, here's the Leadville backup repeater.
Full backup, full quieting 5x5.
With the bike race starting early next morning, it's time for hams to set up all their gear in the support vehicles, including all the sag wagons and the Colorado State Patrol. Now I'm heading up to where my role is early on Saturday morning at the Climax aid station.
Start up, so it was hard to hear, but good. Sounds good. And to Elvira.
And that's because of the tour. They were runners, not riders. They were not associated with the tour.
I got that. Thank you.
Here's a view of the link status during the race while there's traffic.
Okay, copy 2 extra tables on the trucks that are not here. And then turn lunch. Big Boss, 2 copy.
Big Boss copies direct and we're en route to that location with the clicker. W0 CDN.
Then turn lunch. Did you hear Big Boss? Affirmative. Then turn copy. Okay, KC0BYY net.
3 to 5 miles outside of Copper, using a sag.
3 to 5 miles out of Copper, using a sag to Climax.
You also have permission to take them back to Copper if needed.
Yup, KC0D straight segment.
The count for riders down is 318, and on the way up is 32.
Okay, copy 382 coming down, and 32 going up.
Day 1 was a success, and it was the first year with full linked communications without having to use anyone as a relay. Now that day 1's over, we gotta take everything down we just set up. On Sunday, the race doesn't need Buckeye Peak, so we're heading up first thing in the morning up to Buckeye, and then after the race is done, we're gonna have to take down Copper, and then Sunday evening head back to Denver so we can get back to work early Monday morning. Ready to hoof up to the take down their repeater. Here's Macon. Okay, time to take all this stuff down and pack it back. Thanks so much to Macon N0MCW and Steve KC0SAL for helping take all this equipment back down. After the bike race finished on day 2, we headed up to grab the Copper Mountain repeater, and then exhaustedly headed back through all the traffic to Denver. This communication system was a ton of work, but definitely a rewarding endeavor, seeing it all come together. All of this work is supported completely by volunteers through the Skyhub Link repeater linking system, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Support our group at skyhublink.com/support. We would also like to thank Amateur Radio Digital Communications for the support with our communication infrastructure. Last, please consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more content like this, and thanks so much for watching.